I'm Jim Klug, and more than 25 years ago, I founded Yellow Dog Flyfishing. From the very beginning, we had one simple goal: to build the industry's #1 resource for travel and destination angling. Since that time, we've grown to become the largest, most full-service booking agent in fly fishing, representing more than 255 destinations in 42 different countries. In 2023, Yellow Dog expanded our overall offerings, adding full retail and equipment services to our lineup. Years in the making, this effort resulted in the creation of the most complete, fully integrated retail shop in all of fly fishing. Built to perfectly align with our large international and domestic offering of destinations, we've set out to create the fly shop for the world of fly fishing. No matter where in the world you're planning to travel and fish, our goal is to equip anglers with the right gear, fly patterns, and equipment, while also offering incredible service and legitimate insider knowledge on our website and in our Bozeman-based fly shop. Over the past several years, we've worked hard to create an extensive website that is a true resource for anglers of all disciplines, interests, and experience levels. We've also built a platform that is an incredible tool for traveling anglers, with wide-ranging video collections, planning resources, and updated reports from destinations throughout the world. One of the most impactful conversation-inciting projects we've created was 2025's Yellow Dog 5-Weight Fly Rod Invitational, a video that evaluated and rated every 5-weight rod available through Yellow Dog. It was an enormous undertaking to create and produce, requiring a dedicated team of independent professionals to test and rate the highest performing rods in a variety of different casting scenarios. The results stoked a lot of conversation within the industry and caught the attention of anglers throughout the world.
Not a surprise that it's #1.
Shortly after the release of our 5-Weight Invitational project, we couldn't ignore the fact that anglers and viewers were immediately asking for a saltwater equivalent, specifically for an evaluation of 8, 9, and 11-weight rods. And yes, I know what some of you are probably thinking. What does a Montana-based fly shop know about saltwater? And furthermore, why would you trust us to review and evaluate these saltwater rods? But the truth is, we have our roots here in the saltwater, where more than 25 years ago, Yellow Dog was founded right here in the country of Belize. Upon arrival in Belize City, our crew quickly transferred by boat to Turneffe Atoll, where owners Craig and Karen Hayes had extended the opportunity to run our entire casting project out of legendary Turneffe Flats Lodge. Turneffe Flats occupies a prime position on Turneffe Atoll, one of the most intact and productive flats fisheries in the Western Hemisphere. Combined with a seasoned guide team and a full slate of lodge amenities and services, Turneffe Flats has long been recognized as one of the Caribbean's most respected saltwater destinations. To properly test and evaluate these saltwater rods, we invited an elite lineup of independent casters, 3 well-known, accomplished industry professionals who truly know saltwater fishing and have years of experience testing and evaluating equipment. And that's a major component of this entire project, that these individuals are fully independent from Yellow Dog, and all 3 are participating in this invitational without compensation or any sort of directives regarding results. While Yellow Dog organized and sponsored the project, the final results and rankings are completely up to the independent raters.
Yeah, it just feels really light. I think that may be that it's a little more top heavy.
A resident of Key West, Nathaniel Linville owns and operates the Angling Company, one of the premier flats fishing outfitters and fly shops in the country. Linville combines deep technical knowledge with a competitive pedigree, and he's a multiple-time winner of elite fly tournaments, including the March Merkin, Gold Cup, Del Brown, and Cuda Bowl. His mastery of saltwater casting, strategic approach to fighting and landing big fish, and immense experience on the flats give him a unique perspective on rod performance and function in real-world saltwater conditions. Nathaniel has become a well-known name in the sport through his writing, fly casting instruction, and holding a number of IGFA fly rod records for permit and tarpon.
Okay, I'm gonna go right side, blue target.
Ian Slater brings a lifetime of fishing passion, competitive spirit, and deep flats experience to the Invitational. After an early career that included years in professional hockey, Ian redirected his energy towards flats fishing and quickly became one of the most respected guides in the Keys.
This is a rod that I felt like I had to put very minimal into it.
Along with guiding anglers on bonefish, permit, tarpon, and other saltwater species, Ian has also notched a number of major tournament wins and has been guiding at an incredibly high level for years in one of the world's most challenging fisheries. Known for his professionalism, patient teaching style, and deep understanding of saltwater casting, Ian's combination of guide experience and real-world saltwater fishing credentials makes his evaluation of rod performance enormously practical and deeply informed.
Right-hand side, 70 feet. I thought it would blow over there, it didn't. It's got good line speed, so it doesn't get affected by the wind so much. Yep, it's nice and close. Let's go medium.
Our final caster is Brian O'Keefe, a legendary angling personality whose life and career have been shaped by a profound love of fishing and storytelling.
And I've got to stop it or it'll go too far.
Brian's life reflects a relentless commitment to fishing, not just as a pastime, but as a core way of engaging with the natural world and crafting narrative around angling experiences. Brian's technical perspective emphasizes how technique, intuition, and experience intertwine with skill development. He brings years of accumulated insight, perspective on gear performance under real conditions, and an ability to articulate those experiences in ways that resonate with both experienced anglers and those who are just starting out in the sport.
I think this is actually perfect wind scenario.
Yeah.
It's puffy, it shifts a little bit, it's very realistic.
Sure.
You don't want to have it too perfect.
Building from the foundation and takeaways established with our original 5-weight project, we will dedicate a full day to testing and evaluating each saltwater rod weight. Each day, the casters will navigate a course designed to best simulate the typical casting scenarios encountered while on the flats, be that tarpon with the 11 weights, permit with the 9s, or bonefish with the 8s. To take it a step further and create as similar a scenario for each caster, each rod weight has been paired with a matching weight reel and the same exact fly lines, leaders, and flies. During the evaluation, our casters will be joined by a recorder and note taker to assist with recording notes specific to each rod's performance and to track each rod's respective scores. Within the evaluation, each caster will follow the same exact sequence while casting the rods at various distances within an environment that mimics the typical conditions a saltwater angler may face. At the end of each day, our production team will then tally the results and reveal the top cumulative scores and performance numbers to our casters. At that point, we'll lean into the conversation and listen in as they compare their notes and discuss the top performing rods in each category. course has been set up on the flats to imitate typical permit fishing scenarios, where each caster will be fishing from the front of a skiff. Each casting lane has been set up relevant to the prevailing winds, using a compass to ensure that all 3 lanes were casting at the same angles.
A little to your left.
A tape measure was used to set floating targets
That's
at
perfect,
distances
right
of 30 feet, 50 feet, and 70 feet. A backcast scenario was also set up at the 30-foot range. Each 9-weight rod is paired with a hatched 9+ fly reel, a Scientific Angler's balance taper weight forward 9 line, and an Umpqua Linville tactical leader. A size 4 Patos crab pattern, a popular Caribbean crab fly, completes the combo.
Got a pretty nice day out here. It's got a little bit of wind coming from the north, a steady breeze, and we're going to go through all these rods, have these elite and awesome anglers test them, and we'll uncover the results later.
Yeah. See this, look at the tip flex on that. I didn't expect that. Yep, very nice.
Yeah, 7-7.
Blue target.
Felt like, especially at that longer shot, I could get a little bit more out of the rod. I'm gonna go 6-9.
That's pretty good. Bingo. That extends to 10 feet. That generally takes all the clunky crab bounces out. This is beautiful at this distance. Nice turnover. Straight as an arrow. That's nice. Go 13 feet.
And now the fun part, revealing the top 5 performers for the 9-weights.
Well, you know, this was a pretty cool day because I'm aiming at that middle target, and behind it, 30 feet, is a beautiful big bonefish swimming around. I mean, is this work? I mean, I'm not sure, but today was a beautiful flat, off and on, good light, never really bad light, but the wind shifted around. Sometimes in the middle of your cast, you could feel it, a swirling wind come through there. You see your line kind of move. It's so realistic. It's everyday kind of stuff you see when you're guiding.
Very much so. I mean, it was a beautiful day, great light at times, different wind, especially throughout from when we started towards the end of the day. Yeah, just a real life scenario.
Yeah, and we had rain too. So.
It's interesting how much those little that much variability in the conditions affected the casting too. Mm-hmm. That little difference in having a slight change in the wind really makes what you're doing with the rod.
And plus, we're using a lead-eyed crab fly, mm-hmm. and change of direction with those kind of heavy flies without a lot of hackle and feathers that soften it through the air. It's very direct, ba-boom, ba-boom. You really felt the kind of crab clunk on the short casts and stuff. So, I mean, we weren't using a piece of yarn. Yeah. It was a lead-eyed crab fly. That's
it was the
real deal.
Real fishing situation. Worth noting that the purpose of the course that we're throwing these rods at is a real-world course. There were a lot of times today that I was casting a rod, and I felt like if there had been a distance quotient to this, it would have. There were some rods that I knew would have scored really high on a pure distance component. But the course that we're putting these rods through, I think, has been designed with a lot of intent to get the rods to do what they do on an ordinary day. And today it was amazing to me how with 9 weights, it's so different because now you're throwing a weighted fly. That really changes the presentation. And I thought it went really well, and it was good going through the course today, and it felt like we were putting the rods through the paces that they would actually get put through in a regular day of fishing.
And you guide with 9 weights, right? That's one of your primary rods.
I would say that's, look, when we're bone fishing and permit fishing, even certain times of the year tarpon fishing as well, we're throwing a 9 weight, and it's probably the most versatile rod that we throw down in the lower Keys.
Yeah, it's cool. And you know what? a lot of freshwater anglers won't appreciate this, but I love a 9-weight because I know I'm going to do something super fun. Baby tarpon, golden dorado, peacock bass. It's just, you're fishing for some of the premier fish in the world.
Certainly.
It's like an optimistic rod weight.
Yeah.
Like you're probably going to catch a small fish, but you could catch a really big one.
You can land big fish on a 9-weight.
So today we had the opportunity to cast 18 different rods. Really exciting. What was really challenging was to see how close what I considered, and you can't even really consider it, but the price point rods to the premier rods.
Right.
There was a lot of crossover. A lot of these rods felt very, very similar.
Exactly.
While at the same time, a lot of these rods felt very different. What for me was nice to kind of go back and forth in no real specific way, and seeing some of our faster rods to some of our slower rods, and how they present themselves from our 30-foot target to 50-foot target and 70-foot target, and look, to have the time to cover such a vast amount of rods in a short period of time, it definitely didn't make it easy on me to kind of settle on what we will find out to be as our 1 through 5.
No. I want you to go last because my comment isn't going to be as professional as yours. But I'm watching you guys in the 2 boats next to me, because I have been watching you guys. I didn't see you make any bad casts. So I'm thinking, well, not only are you total pros, but the rods you were casting all functioned really nice. The line is great, leader, everything worked. So I'm thinking my scores are going to be 4/10 to 6/10 different from 1st to 7th. It's all jam-packed in there. And I'm thinking, how are these guys going to score when I'm watching you cast perfect loops all day long?
Well, don't sell yourself short, Brian. You were throwing some darts over there.
Yeah.
Trying. Going long. Let's see if it's my jam. Oops. Boom.
So we've talked about the course. We've talked about our shared love for 9-weights. Let's look at the results from today and see what we got.
This is fun. Thanks.
Number 5. G. Loomis Asquith.
Okay. Let's check it out. What did we say?
This is the new concept rod.
Yep. It has that same sort of integrated grip. It has this new reel seat design, which is pretty interesting. Kind of fun to see something different. Cork is very nice. It's a kind of a modified full Wells grip, but not a double. Just got the thumb brace on the front. But you can see how it's tapered, kind of candlestick-ish in a way. It's a very nice looking taper on the grip. Fighting butt's a nice size. All hardware is going to be really, really nice. Very, very handsome. I actually found that on my back cast, it was very narrow back there, and I didn't have a super powerful back cast. Front, no problem, because it's that half wells up here. Boom, it boomed great. But my back cast, it was kind of loosey-goosey back here because it trimmed down like a...
That point is when I'm really adamant about giving a rating to the reel butt, the rod butt. Because on my back cast, especially with a longer cast, I put the butt on my forearm and push it off and brace. And so if that thing is too long, it goes farther down my forearm. But if it's too wide or not wide enough, which can be just as common, it changes the sort of angle of the rod. And I think if you don't do that, you have you're using the heel of your hand to rotate the underside of the rod underneath the tip to flex it, then look, it's a bold move. And the one thing that happened to me today, I picked up the rod and I immediately took my hand off and went I thought my hand was wet.
Yeah, because you didn't really
Because
get a great grip.
my finger had wrapped around it and touched that finished metal.
Yeah.
And it was slick, and I was like, I must have fish slime or something on my finger. But it was just that. But it's an interesting detail. Because it's like a slick thing. So, I don't know, my personal opinion of this is it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely think it it's you know, a new look, a new approach. I'd be very curious to hear kind of their, you know, Gene Loomis's standpoint on the cork design. Outside of that, I really liked this rod. I mean, it's at a premium price. I felt like it was a fast rod, had a lot of backbone. I felt like I really couldn't overpower it. It was, you know, I could really give it what I wanted, and I felt like it was a very, very accurate casting rod. One of which I really had a lot of fun casting and felt like it was a very well-fished rod.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I wrote down that it generates a lot of line speed.
Boom.
And it was easy to bomb. If you wanted to bomb it, just make a decent back cast where your line straightens out about rod tip high, and then drift a bit and just stop it. And man, it goes and goes and goes. Yeah. So it was a fun rod to cast. I enjoyed it a lot.
I felt the notes that I have about this were that it felt really crisp and light. And I think when I use words like that, it just means efficient. It felt like what I put into it, I got out of it. I did find it's not super forgiving. If I make a mistake, I feel like I pay the price for it. It would be interesting to see if I fished the rod for a while, how I felt about that, if I made any adjustments to accommodate that. But also this rod for me had a very low standard deviation. My scores close, medium, and far were as near together as they've been, or close to it for this whole set of tests, that's really, for me, that's a very, very important thing.
And I thought I might have scored it actually one of the highest at our third target, which was 70 feet. But I just noticed here in my notes, very smooth at in close cast without that crab clunk. A little less clunky than some. Let's go to 10 feet. Very smooth. That's pretty
that
good.
lack of sort of recoil,
The dampening
Yep.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to do. I give hats off to.
It would have been cool
Loomis.
if there had been like a distance quotient to this. I bet this rod would have performed really well.
If you set it up with a really nice back cast, you're starting to smile because you know this is a boomer. Boom! It's fun.
It's cool. I like that people are doing something new too.
Sure.
I mean, I'm very
Keep
traditional.
it new. Keep it fun.
On to number 4, the 9 weights. Number 4 is the Scott Sector.
Okay, let's check it out.
It exceeded my expectations in performance.
That's cool. Functional taper design for pleasant casting, meaning, it doesn't just have tip, it doesn't just have butt. There's a whole rod there. You're paying, good money for the rod. We'll make it all work for you instead of just having $100 at the tip do all the work. So I thought it was very pleasant to cast. It was just a nice experience. Boom, boom, boom. My scribe, the people that takes the notes as we're talking, put quotations. Very smooth dash wow. Very smooth. Maybe I'm a bit fastidious about this, but I went perfect full Wells grip. And by the way, these top end rods had unbelievably great quality cork. And then we did some mid-price rods, and that's why. More filler, little dark spots and things. Hey, cork's expensive, comes from Portugal, and I like to see the nice rods look super clean and nice.
I actually have very few notes about this rod, which, really I'm only trying to explain stuff that I don't really understand with a rod. I don't think I tested this rod for very long today. My scores were all close together, short, medium, and long, which to me is again, a very important component in this. My notes are, I like the cork and fighting butt are the right size. Mm-hmm. And I probably said it exactly like that. I like the rod. I like the cork, I should say. And the fighting butt are all the right size to me, which is really helpful. I don't feel like there's a lot of extra weight on the top 3 sections. Not a lot of weight on the top 3 sections. And for me, what I think I mean, some rods have heavier hardware, and I can feel the weight of that hardware in the blank as it unloads going forward and back. So that just means that it felt efficient. Like what I put in, I got out, and it was more intuitive at distance. And I think that's a sign of a good rod where I don't feel this need to explain it. It just kind of works. It gets a high score, and that's really what I want. You know, I don't want a rod that's going to hold me to task for every mistake that I make. You said it was forgiving, and I would agree with that completely. If I'm making a cast and I come in towards the center of my body a little bit, it doesn't kick way off to the left. And you said the word pleasant, like it is. It's just an easy rod. It's like someone who's always nice, you know. Yeah. Like you don't have to try to get along with them. Ian, what was your favorite thing about this rod?
Well, from a castability, I thought this rod was a real treat from 50 to 70 feet. Mm-hmm. I felt like I said, it exceeded my expectations. Just a smooth, easy casting rod. Yep. And I kind of always go back to like, you should really enjoy what you're casting. Yeah. And I felt that way with this rod. And
is there anything about it that you would change? Any note you would give it?
No, I enjoy the recoil guides on it. I think I enjoyed having that on there. But no, nothing off the top of the head. One note I would say, I think this is a rod that you could put into casters of your level, and then put it into someone just new entering the game. Oh, yeah. And both are going to find an ability to get the job done with it.
Brian, what was your favorite part about
Well,
this? Or one thing?
I have to thank Ian for kind of setting me up. Same. My very smooth wow was because from 50 to 70 feet, it was just a dream rod. It was just super nice, super easy. I wrote down distance cast feels the best, meaning, but let me go back, I gave it a high score for close in. Yeah. But distance cast feels the best. So this is a gun that also has some finesse.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, we've pontificated some very complimentary things about the last 2 rods, 5th and 4th. 3 is going to be, good, better, best, right? So here we go. I see here a G Loomis, the NRX Plus S. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember liking this rod very much like the Asquith. A ton of power. The overall feel in the hand was very comfortable for me.
What does the S stand for? Salt? Okay.
A permit standpoint too, for me, that 50 to 70, range is where I really like to feel the rod. Not that you need to reach permit at that distance, time and time again, but if I can reach them at that far, I want to try at least.
Those fish aren't here in boat slap.
Exactly.
The farther away, the better, but not so that it's just a monster, but reasonably long cast. Yeah. 65, 75, maybe 80 feet.
And look, what's interesting too for me is like I want to poke for a permit as far as we can. Like if we can reach them at 70, I want to reach them at 70. First shot opportunities for permit don't always work out. It'd be great if they did, but it's usually like second, third shot. So while 50 is that like, hey, this is the shot, 70 feet is kind of like that preferred, like, look, if we can get it there, let's go for it.
I ranked it, the highest for me was at the 70-foot target. But I was, very kind of close in my scoring from one to another.
Yep. Well, again, you've sort of stolen my thunder, but my scribe...
Thunder thief.
My scribe has a quotation, meaning as I'm casting and stuff, something I just sort of blurt out, and he records quotations. That is a thing of beauty, because I was looking at my loops. Because remember with the mangrove behind us, how you can see your line so perfectly? So I did some casts where I just wanted to watch my back cast. I wanted to get up high a bit, never down low, but up high a bit or straight back. And my back casts were just, they're just beautiful. And so I went, that is a thing of beauty, because you got to appreciate it. I mean, it's really, really a wonderful thing. Keeping it airborne a second. Again, super pretty loops. Look at that, that's a thing of beauty. Everyone's the same. Tick the water. Nope, that one's a little funky. So, and that, to make a thing of beauty, comes back to my first note. It tracks very clean. I'm a thumb, north and south caster, no east and west. And so when I go boom, every back cast was identical. It was the same shape, it has the same height, and when it's at rod tip height, you own it. You just have to look at your target and put it there. Here's your vision, here's your rod. Just aim it. It was really good at that. Do a fisherman's cast, one big back cast. After this one, shoot a little, shoot a little.
Effortless to generate.
Yeah, troubleshooting is very minor, just a tiny bit of timing or stroke length, but then you're dialed. It's done. You can just go fish it for the rest of your life.
My notes for this rod are very similar to what I can imagine all these rods. They're not long. My score is clustered. Small or short, medium, long are all pretty much, within a very small range. And my notes are, I don't feel a lot of the weight of the guides, so I feel like the blank is recovering. I'm not feeling a lot of guide weight, which is nice. I'm feeling like what I'm putting in is coming out. It does the job for me, is a note that I have, and it's a little easier at 70 feet. I do think that Loomis rods, at least so far, they seem to be a little bit canted toward a longer cast.
I agree.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing. But again, those, you pick it up and you can just sort of tell, okay, this is light. It's not going to be difficult to cast. You start making some casts and it just does a job. And that's what I'm looking for in a rod.
Alrighty, guys, let's see what number 2 has for us.
Hold on. Are there any surprises in there? I only say that because I think in my scores, there's a surprise in there.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
You don't? Okay, well, that's good. That's really good.
I don't know.
That shows that we have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah. You guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hardy Marksman Z.
Oh, yeah.
So can I just see that real quick, Ian? Just so we want to see how close they are. 0.3 out of 90. My point is, and I'll make it till we get to number 1, but the margins on this stuff are so, and it makes me feel like my rating system is, I'm not a machine, I'm just rating based on how I feel, but, it's telling that they're as tight as they are.
Ian, what do you have to say?
Look, I really enjoyed this rod. I love the lightness, the versatility of it. I think it casts great at the 30-foot target, the 50 and equally as well as the 70-foot target.
Good. Yeah. Really not surprised. Another premium rod, just absolutely delivering. I'm very impressed with this. It's very, very light, very, very comfortable.
Again, I really enjoy the recoil guides. I think it's a great way of kind of shaving some weight off the rods. And then too, from like a guide standpoint, you get guys that are throwing rods in the boat, kicking things at times, and it just those guides have just a little bit more forgiveness to them. But outside of that, it's just ease of casting, very comfortable, and I just go back to how do I make this as simple on myself for understanding these things and what we're trying to accomplish? And I just go back to, am I enjoying casting this? Am I having fun casting this? Is this something
You're not
that
working
is,
too hard.
no, is it going to complement what I'm trying to get done out here? And I felt like the Hardy did that entirely.
Do a roll cast, pick up, and go. You keep some in the air for just a minute to watch the loops. It's really smooth. Good loop. Good enough. Good loop. And right at the target. Nice distance, good accuracy. Pick up, put down, easy. Blew out of the course. Pick up, put down, right on the noodle.
And talk to me about long.
Long was easy, smooth, good loop shape. Not a lot of work. Apparently I said something like great loop shape while carrying a lot of line. And you know what? That's a huge compliment for a rod, because some carry a beautiful loop at 35, 40, 50 feet. Easy for a lot of rods. But to carry a lot of line, maybe 60 or 70 feet, I mean, that is all rod, you know. So I apparently said something to the effect that you could carry a lot of line and still have great loop shape. Let me just see. You know, I use this word clunky because when you have a lead-eyed crab on it short, you know, it's a projectile and it hits the end of your cast and it shockwaves your line. But I said no clunky in close, apparently, and incredibly easy at 50, like training wheels cast. I mean, 50 feet. 50 feet is short for this rod.
Right.
You know, really 65 to 90 is a zone that this rod would really fish well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, all the rods that are in this sort of elite category I know that the distances we're throwing at are exactly the same from boat to boat, but on the boat that you're fishing, I mean, you're throwing at the same thing. It's fixed in the ground. And with these rods and rods like it, with this rod and rods like it, I feel like that distance just gets, it's like it's shortened.
Yeah, you just want to throw a bomb with this rod, you know? I mean, come on.
It's intuitive, and I don't have to think about it, and it's not trying to deliver something that you know is an outlier. It's just trying to like do a job, and that's the best thing I can see.
Well, you guys can remember when Hardy came on the scene. Remember, it was an English company.
Yeah.
And then they got involved with some great distribution and great people, and they made a lot of noise. What was it, 15 years ago or something like that, and started being like Hardy was
2010,
yeah, Hardy was a player, and now they do this, didn't skip a beat. I mean, they just kept the progression of quality and design going, and I think they really, really did a great job.
The rod just executes. And, you know, I think that's, you know, what we hope for. When a shot finally comes around, you know, we want a rod that is going to complement what we're capable of doing. And, you know, I'd be as confident as ever fishing this rod.
Quick question for you, Ian. This rod bombed, but comfortably, without a lot of work, without hurting yourself. It was easy to cast the whole line and a few feet of backing, right? So when you're guiding, well, you don't have people that are going to toss 120 feet. So do you think this rod would be a good rod for intermediate type anglers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think it covers the spectrum of our cast that we did very competently. It does offer forgiveness. It's, you know, it's not all gas, no brakes, but it will, you know, it will give you a little bit of a buffer if you're off just a bit.
Well, I love that perspective because you're fishing with people of all ages, abilities, men, women, kids. So your information is really, really important. And the reason I asked that question, because I wrote incredibly easy at 50, like 50, it's just no, I mean, give me a challenge. I mean, God, 50 feet was
it felt short.
It did. I thought our 50 feet cast was like a short cast, you know, because it was so easy.
It's funny too. You hear about 50 and 70 feet, But with your leader, that's not that long.
Yeah.
And people just forget about leader length. But it's not 70 feet, if you go and mark it out, then you presented a fish there. I mean, if the fish is coming at you, you're throwing it 62, 63 feet. It's not a super long distance.
Yep. Well, we all agree it was a great rod. And I'm just going to look at my scores real quick. Really good at 50, very good at 70, and pretty good at our short cast. So
Yeah.
I think my average would put this in the A category. So what's not to like? All right, you guys.
Ready?
Are you ready? This is really exciting.
Number one.
Yeah. If I knew who was number one, it would take the wind out of the sails. I mean, it would be kind of lackluster. This is so cool.
But do you want to really be floored? Like, do you want to open that up and be like,
I know
what
it
the
is.
Because that would mean that two people tried a rod that you really didn't like and loved it.
Yeah.
A surprise would scare me a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not going to be surprised. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't know what you like. I don't know what you scored. I know what
just,
I scored.
Just based on the ratings we've had so far and how tight they've been, and knowing the rods that I threw today, if I'm surprised, then so be it. But I don't think I will be.
Okay, there's only 2 rods, in my opinion, that are missing from the top 5, made by the same manufacturer. Mm-hmm. So one of them is going to be in there, in my opinion. How about that?
Yep.
Ready?
I think it's time to find out now.
Orvis Helios D. Now let's compare scores with number 2, because I bet this is fairly close. I mean, I really enjoyed this rod.
Stand by. We have no note in number 2.
And we all boomed this rod out, right? We all did distance and all that stuff. It actually won short. And I think strategically winning short gives you those points for your overall score.
Entirely.
And so if you can follow it up with good, mid, and long, this is the one. See, that's our biggest jump.
Yep. No, it's not.
Isn't it 0.9?
Oh yeah, you're right.
This is worse than wine tasting. And it'll taste good to me, what I mean? Okay, let me have that one more time. Okay, Orvis Helios D. And, let's find out how it got here. Thanks. Go for it, Ian.
I really enjoyed casting this rod. I really felt that it was a very accurate rod. I never felt like I needed to, at any point in time, try to overpower it.
Again, from a permit standpoint, I really, really do value these 70-foot shots, and this was a very impressive rod. I'm going to go 8.3.
A very easy, effortless cast for me to make, and surely if I can do it, I would assume it was equally as easy for you guys.
Probably. Well, in my notes, it looks like I'm being paid by Orvis under the table, but I apparently said to my scribe, my favorite rod of the 9 weights. Those are pretty nice loops. Good loops. That's really good short. So I got load, looking at bend, bending down to the second stripping guide. Go. Shoot a little bit. Here's my full false cast. Clear. Wow. This is a wow rod.
Wild?
Wow rod. They did a nice job on this.
How you feel?
And apparently, another thing I said was, one back cast and it will go a mile. So that's pretty good stuff.
But yeah, I mean, from a design perspective, if you were trying to win this course, you would have to put as much effort into the short game as you would in the long game. And I would say of the top 3 rods, which are all, I mean, you know, it's a toss-up between those 3. They're so closely scored together. I noticed that they were rods that, at least in their description, didn't talk about the elite caster, heavy flies, into the wind, challenging environment. You know, there wasn't this like sort of hype about what the rod can do out there. And that I think is an important component in this. I mean, if you're going to make a 70-foot cast, you're going to make a 30 along the way to it. If you're going to make a 100-foot cast, you're going to make, I mean, you cast progressively out there. And that short distance is so critical to the performance of these rods. Even on a regular cast at 60, 70 feet, you're still casting through a short distance. And these rods, all of the top 5 really, I felt like there was a real thought given to how they perform short. And yeah, I mean, my notes were virtually the same as they were for the last 3 rods. I make a comment about the fighting butt, and I said it's a great all-around rod, and it makes 70 and 50 feet feel short.
I don't think there's really a dog in the whole group. I mean, we're using all the best state-of-the-art technology in design and materials. And when you talked about those guides on the Scott rod, you know what happens? Half the time people will cram their rods into a tube to go on a trip, and they'll bend guides and they'll break stuff, but those reflex guides have a lot of, so I was glad you brought that up. So I mean, what I just love here is your experience, tournament caster, tournament angler, fly shop owner, guide of renown, and just a guy that likes to fish. And so we cover a lot of bases. Plus, I'm the age of a lot of your customers. You know, so these rods shouldn't be built for 6'4" bench press, 400 pounds. 5'8" bench press, 299. I mean, it's fun being, you cover an arena in the sport, you cover another one, I cover one. And it's just good to see how our scores all come together.
But it's interesting that we are all virtually aligned with what we're commenting. I mean, there might be some finer details that are different in terms of our score, and maybe I would have placed one rod, you know, if I had to, and I wouldn't, by the way. If you asked me to take a card and say this is the 1 and 2 and 3, I just wouldn't do it. I'm not going to do that. I'd give you a top 5, but I'm not going to order them because I think it's like, to me, it's just
we're not
rude.
Computers, we're human beings.
But for the 3 of us, and Ian has a very different casting style than me.
Not that much.
But we all have different.
I watch you guys. Same sort of slip and slide.
Well, unfortunately, Ian has to watch me all the time. So, no, but it's, you know, it's telling that we all kind of hit the same notes with this stuff, and there isn't.
Well, that's a great point. If you have different styles, but you still have consistency in the scoring,
then it says a lot about the rod. And this is because we're controlling all the variables except for the rod. Like literally, it's the same people standing on the same boat in the same place with the same line, with the same leader, with the same fly, with the same targets. And the only thing that's changing is the rod. And that, I think, is what attracted me to this project in the first place, is to really give it, you know, because it's rare. Like I think of it as a big deal. If I rig up the same reel and the same line and I get 2 rods, and I'll do this when a manufacturer comes out with a new rod. I'll take the old one and I'll take the new one. Same everything. And I'll go to the park and I'll try them next to one another, put one down and pick it up. And it's interesting how different they are. But to do it with 18 different rods and for us to have a similar, like, and that's what you were saying about a surprise. Like, if there is a huge surprise to one of us, it means that I rated something low. And not only did I rate it low, but you guys rated it that much higher. So the delta between our experience is really big. And that would be disturbing to me.
Yeah, when you think back on one thing, I actually rated a mid-price rod, actually 2 mid-price rods, quite high today. I think my scores were, I bet it's in 6th or 7th place. It was the Orvis Recon, and was it one of the Loomis mid-price rods?
Yeah.
I liked both of those rods a lot. Do you remember much about those?
I do. I felt a lot of the, you know, price point rods performed really, really well.
Yeah.
I think that's because they're designing them for like a little more of the mid-range of fishing. And so the course we're running them through that makes more sense. I think some of the rods failed today because they were designed for the super long stuff, and you put them through a regular fishing course and they just can't, one rod comes to mind. Like it was built for a long cast, it just,
Right.
And that's, I think those mid-price rod, they're trying to make them accessible.
I was very happy that those rods are available to the public where the price matters, but actually the performance was very good. I was very happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's, what a time to be in the fly fishing industry.
Yeah.
There's
Lots of choices.
There's a rod that's, there's certainly an angler for every rod and a rod for every angler.
Yep.
Now we know that any project that sets out to compare and contrast different rods and different brands is going to create quite a bit of discussion and perhaps even a little bit of debate. We know there'll be some talk about who are these guys from Montana and what do they know about saltwater? But hey, we've already addressed that, and we stand behind the fact that we've brought together an incredible team of highly accomplished, well-regarded anglers who rank among some of the most experienced and professional in the entire industry. Keep in mind that the intent of this project is not to crown an overall winner or identify one single rod that tops them all. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to evaluating these saltwater rods. Because here's the thing, there is no single rod that is perfect for every angler out there. Just as there is no single rod that covers every application, distance, presentation, or fishing scenario. And we hope that by watching this, you've learned a few things about how to evaluate the rod and what to focus on when selecting your next 9-weight. Be sure to visit yellowdogflyfishing.com to explore these invitational results in full detail. This extensive online bonus information includes full details and individual scores for all rods that were tested. A special thanks to our casters, to our 3 guides, KP, Ed, and Mark, and to our incredible production crew of Chris Patterson, Brian Gregson, Carter Lyles, Aaron Wood, John Clark, and Kurt Erickson. A big thanks to all the manufacturers that agreed to participate in this invitational. A thank you to the Belize Tourism Board, and a huge thank you to Turneffe Flats for hosting us during our amazing week in Belize.